Hey Coach, super excited you found us on YouTube in my messy basement. But let me tell you a couple things. First of all, go over and check out teachers.com for coaches who want to get better. That's the first thing. Second thing is make sure you subscribe. Go hit that little bell so every time you come on YouTube, you'll be able to find all of our stuff and subscribe. That is really important.
To do is to be able to fall back into a defense that you feel comfortable with. Now, the name of the defense is the point zone defense. Some of you may have heard of it, but since there's a lot of terminology, I'm going to try to get those questions and terminology out now so that you guys can understand. The word point zone does not mean we're playing a 1-3-1 or a 1-2-2. What it means is, in our terminology, when we play this matchup defense, is that the point is being guarded. Wherever the ball is the point. And that is always under pressure. Okay, another term that we have that goes with it is called a hole, and that's under the basket, so that at all times you have somebody protecting the basket. And that doesn't necessarily have to be the 5-man, because as you're going to see in a couple of minutes when I demonstrate, the 5-man actually has clearly defined responsibilities. One of them is being between the ball and the basket at all times. It almost sounds like it's an automatic help defender. Now, truth be told, at times the zone will look like a 1-3-1. At times the zone will look like a 1-2-2. At times the zone will look like a 2-2-1 or a 2-3 from the corner. Okay, but in all areas, one of the things that we went to it for, and I would suggest this to most coaches, is when you go back down on defense after you press, you always want to have your guys go into places where they feel they will not get mismatched. You don't want to give up legs. Obviously, I used to tell guys, if we press 4 straight times and we don't turn the ball over with a 35-second shot clock, and we don't give up the basket, it didn't cost us anything to press. So then maybe the next 3 times you might get 3 turnovers, leads to 6 points, or 9 points, or 3 threes, and all of a sudden, you feel great. The second reason I would go to it is because it's a great change-up from what you're doing. So for example, let's say you're a man-to-man team, you press full court man, you drop back man-to-man. The nice thing about this defense is in a 35-second situation in high school, and I guess now 30 in college, okay, you can do a lot of damage and distort the team's offense that you're playing against. Of course, scouting will help, okay, but that's another reason why we do it. Now, the third reason, and this, I know you mentioned the example about us losing the rebound battle. I think it was Meg Rebus, right, Shay?
Yes, sir.
Is that Meg Rebus? I think it was the rebound battle, 55-10. I'll never forget that.
69-18.
And before 35,
Coach,
it
was 69-18. No joke. 69-18.
Okay, 69-18, still 41, right?
Yep.
Okay. One of the reasons why people don't like going zone is because their box-out responsibilities are not good. You will sometimes play 2-3 zone, and all of a sudden be killed by offensive rebound and offensive rebound. One of the things about the point zone defense, the box-out responsibilities are clearly defined. So I'm going to take the mic off now so I can demonstrate. You guys have a hard time hearing me. Find a little bit of analogy, I don't know what it is, but I'm demonstrating over here. I'll come back to the mic. But in any event, let me get 10 guys right now down here. Let me get just the big guy, number 11, in the middle. All right, we'll start with the big guy.
Where's your mic guy? I have a mic guy. Give it a turn. I saw the mic guy before. Okay. Okay, so let's start right at the back. Okay, big man. The 5-man role is clearly defined. We just start with this at the beginning. He plays his hands up between the ball and the basket at all times. So if the ball comes over here, he has to make sure he's playing between the ball and the basket. When the ball goes to the corner, okay, you can play 2 ways, depending on what your scouting report tells you. I don't know what you know about the post, low post for the team you're playing against, but he can front, so you can stand in front position. He can play side denied, hand up behind the ball, or if your scouting report tells you to play behind, if the guy you want the guy to shoot, he can play behind. But in any event, when the ball is moved, you just make sure that the maintain that steady pace, playing the ball the best. Okay? All right, good. So he's good. All right, so let me get a 1 and a 2. All right, 1 over here, 2 over here. Okay. Oh, we're playing defense, guys. So you're facing out. Okay, turn around. Let me get 3 and 4. 4 over there, 3 over there, please. Okay? All right, so we got 1, what's your number? You're 1, you're 2, you're 3, you're 4. Okay, now I lined it up this way. All right, I want the 2 guys at the top, have your toes on the at least your toes on the 3-point line. Excellent. Hands up. Okay, so the initial look is a 2-3 zone look. All right, if you look carefully, what I did, now this is up to you. When I coached at Brooklyn, when I coached Coach Shea's team, I actually had some of my bigger guys on that side. But truth be told, we live in a world which is mostly right-handed. Okay, so I tend to think that you want your quicker guys, that you always want to have somebody on the ball on the right side of the offense, and your bigger guys, you want to get your big-time rebound on the left side of the offense. Okay, so now let me get you 5. Come on out, get into like a 1-3-1 alignment. All right, one guy runs to play the high post, one guy runs baseline, and then we have a wing and a wing. Point guard here. Okay, a wing. 3-1. Guys, you never played a 1-3-1 before? Basic high school offense. Okay, all right. So, what we do is on the first initial pass against the 2-3, of course we keep these guys up, high up, so they can, and they got big, showing their hands, because we want to discourage somebody coming down and banging the 3. And if you see us do the whole thing, you'll see that we can defend that, because generally speaking, after the first pass, pretty much is always pressure maintained on the ball. So for example, on the first pass, okay, this guy's probably, his coach is going to tell him this is what makes this more of a man and less of a zone. He's going to tell his players to ping on the dribble, so go ahead, do that. That's probably going to be the last time you will see our defense do that. We'll do that at the initial defensive situation because we want them to believe, okay, that we're playing straight zone. Okay? So now, on the pass, we do what we call a bump back. He runs hard, he goes and matches up on it, because we don't want to give the ball any chance of maintaining pressure. You want to maintain pressure on the ball, but he's going to come and bump you back, send you back down to the baseline. One of the rules in this defense is that we want to keep our forwards down the baseline as much as possible, but they are interchangeable. Here we move about point to point. He's now on the point, and he's yelling, point, 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 point. So he's on the ball. Now he doesn't have to have both hands up, okay? Have one hand up, one hand ready to play the dribble. You are his partner. So the 1-man and the 4-man in this circumstance are partners. The 2 and the 3 are partners. What that means is, when he's on the ball, he's in the hole. When he's on the ball, he's in the hole. So now look at what you have here. You have the ball pressured, you have the ball, big man between the ball and the basket, and you have a man in the hole. So if this guy launches from there, we have box out responsibilities clearly defined. Let me show you that. Point to the guy you would guard if you're playing man-to-man. Good. Box out responsibilities clearly defined. Every single guy is matched up. If you play this right, you should not be out rebounded. Okay, because you can clearly see every matchup responsibility taken. Now, let me get into the individual coaching of the positions. Okay, let me be you for a second. When you guard your wings, you teach them. You do not want to encourage reversal of the basketball. One of the things that I've learned over the years coaching this defense, okay, and I think I learned it from Paul Hewitt, who used to coach at Georgia Tech. He was actually out of Wilmell, Westbury High School. And I went to a clinic, I think it's called Basketball Coaches Association of New York. They still run a clinic every year. I don't know if they've had it already this year or not. But I went up there and I started listening and I said, you know, this defense sounds familiar. Then I went back home and I looked at my old Dean Smith book. Right? Everybody remember Dean Smith? Coach in North Carolina, Coach Michael Jordan. Some people say that he stopped Michael Jordan, okay, offensively. But Dean Smith wrote a book back in the 80s, and it was like the book that every young coach picked up. And I picked it up too and said, you know what? I think I read that in his book. One of the things that he said was, you can create a zone defense that has a lot of man-to-man responsibilities. All the opposing coaches will have a hard time deciding which way to run, whether to run man sets against it or zone sets. So one of the things we want to do is we want to encourage him to be able to penetrate to the basket. But at the same time, we want to deny ball reversal, which is a goal of every man-to-man defensive coach. So we want you to play with your top foot just a little bit above his top foot. Okay, because we don't want him to take a penetration. Because once he's in there, we're dead. Okay, so we want to make sure that we coach that to take that away. I'm sure we have a 5-man there waiting to give help, but we want to take that away. So make sure you plan that way. Go ahead, go back there. Okay? All right. So suppose now at this point, I want us to follow. I want you to run baseline, and I want you guys to follow your men. Okay, not follow your men, but play the rules the way I laid them out. Point and hold. There's one more thing. This looks like a 1-3-1 from here. Let's do the corner right now. Throw the ball to the corner. When the ball goes to the corner, okay, at this point, it's going to look like a 2-2-1. Right there, okay? 2-2-1 out of the corner, all right? With all box-out responsibilities clearly defined. Even though you're here, you're guarding air, still between the ball and the basket. You might not always be between the ball and the basket when it's on the baseline because you have enough extra help. You should be right. So you could theoretically be pointing and boxing him out. You're getting him. You're getting him. So obviously, if this guy were to skip, we still have that play, right? Right. Skip. Okay. So at this point, you readjust yourself. Now, you don't bump back. You have him. So now clearly find your new responsibilities. The difference with this defense is that we don't always let guys run the baseline unmolested. Okay, at this point here, who's your partner? All right, that's your, right? Where you're supposed to be. You're here. Here's where the rule kind of changes. If there is a skip that causes a bad situation, and we leave a guy open, so for example, their baseline runner goes out, you tell him to switch with you, see it? You go out and get him, you drop that, you become the new holdout. Okay? And then who's your new box out responsibility? There you go. Okay? All right, why don't we do this? Why don't you throw the ball back and forth? Let's see how you guys react to it. So start with the initial dribble.
Hey, Coach. Hope you're liking the video. If you are, subscribe down below. That would be awesome. That will help us get noticed all over the web. Also, make sure you subscribe and hit that little bell up above. You get a notification when we put a new video up every day. That's good. Also, make sure you go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better.
And kick, okay? Because I want to cover dribbling too. So I'm hoping I can do this all in the short time I have. All right, ready? So start with the dribble and then just move the ball. Let's go. Up and back. Okay, very good. You didn't have to reverse it, but you gotta get quick. Okay. Here's a point I forgot. Shay, where are you? Do me a favor. I got a water bottle in my jacket over there. Just grab it. I'm dying of thirst here for some reason. Must be because I'm dressed out. I have softball after this, so I have to go play softball for 2 games. Okay. So when you pass, you have to tell your kids. Famous line: move on the catch. Move on the pass, not on the catch. If you wait till the ball is caught, you're dead. They'll find a hole in your seam, in your zone, and somebody will bury a 3-point shot. So you want to make sure you move on the pass, not on the catch. Very important. Same thing. Start with the dribble. Move it. Play. Let's go. Back. Go. Let's go. Free. All right. Everything's fine except for one problem. Start from the beginning. What are you guys not doing? I don't need a point. I don't need hold. I saw a possible switch coming there. I didn't hear that either. Point, hold, switch. Right? Point, hold, switch. One other rule, with the exception of 5-man. If you're not in the point, and if you're not in the hold, chances are you are in a wing somewhere. Okay? If you're not in the point, and you're not in the hole, chances are you're somewhere in the wing. Now, obviously, if the ball's buried in the deep corner, there are times when the whole situation, the point situation, are not going to be equal because maybe someone is being left alone without box-out responsibilities. One of the things that I always hated was when I used to play 2-3 zone, the way people used to alley-oop a 2-3 zone. If you do this right, that will never happen because you will always have an eye on all your men. Remember, guys, all of you have a point at your next potential point. So, for example, dribble, pass to him. Okay, freeze. Now, where are you pointing? At your next potential point. Who's your next potential point? All right, who's your next guy? Now throw another pass. Go ahead. Okay, now point to your next potential point. Who is it? Who is it? Excellent. Throw another pass. Go ahead. Point to your next potential point. Who is it? We're going to do the high post later. Okay, throw. Throw. Next potential point. Who is it? Who is it? Okay, now, and there's a situation. So at this point, it looks like a one when the ball's up top. it looks like a distorted 1-3-1. That's pretty much the way it should look if you're playing a point and hold. But when a team does, and they run a guy on the baseline, who's somebody you have to worry about again as the ball goes. Now, right now, it's not great. You should be even with the ball now. Remember? You're in the hole, aren't you? You see where the ball is? You should you'll be right in the hole, right? Okay. Throw the ball to the wing. Okay? Now, keep clearing out. Okay, you're going to let him have that? Exactly. Bingo. So point to your next potential point. You got the skip pass, you got the center, you got him, even though it's not really the center, right? Okay, now let's do it live. Now I want to see the foul. All right, because we got about 3 or 4 minutes. Pass it back out top. Everybody, rapid fire passing. Don't touch the high post. I'm going to address that in a minute. Okay? And point and hold. Okay? And if there's a switch because the guy is running the baseline, let me know. Go. What happened here? How many guys ran out the ball here? How many? Why? Nobody talked. Exactly. Guys, this is how zones are busted. Guys, most coaches want to create uncontested shots against any defense. If you don't play this with aggressiveness on the ball, you're going to eventually give up an uncontested shot. So what you want to do is force as many possible lobs as possible. How do you do that? When you're on the ball, you have one hand up. Okay? When you're running the ball, have a hand up. The more lobs you force, the better your contesting will be. God knows, if a kid runs out, just now, that would have been a possible foul if he lost his balance, fell into the kid, banged a 3 like Larry Johnson did, famous 4-point play against Indiana way back when. Okay? And next thing you know, you better have a sub ready at the bench. All right? So make sure that you are forcing lob passes. All right? No line drops. All right? Let's try it again. Go. Hurry up. Good. Try to take away the reversal, guys. Remember that. Okay? You play high on him when he has the ball. You play high on him, or you depends on who. Play high and make sure you can't go baseline. Make sure not easy for him to go this way. Okay? Go. Push in the hole! Push in the hole! Good job. Okay. All right, cool. We're going to move on to the next thing. Don't leave this over here. All right. So, now let's get the dribbling. All right. All right. So, what happened here with dribbles? Okay. The rule is that your players have to be able to guard 3 dribbles. Honestly, in a zone defense, that shouldn't be very difficult. But your players have to be able, you have to coach them, you have to do all your man-to-man, your zigzag drills, your pressure the ball drills. They have to be able to guard 3 dribbles. If you do that, this becomes even more immense as a defense. Okay, so our rule with dribbling is as follows. It's going to sound strange, but this is why this is not a zone. Notice at the beginning, when we dribbled the ball and we got the 2 guys to pinch, we don't want the offense to pinch 2 of our defenders, because what does that create somewhere else? Obviously, a shot. So what we want to do is, since we have our 5-man playing between the ball and basket, is incurring and maintaining pressure on the ball. So here's the deal. We guard the dribble. If a guy makes a penetrating dribble on him, he stays with the ball. And everybody else matches up according to the rules of the game. Guy in the hole, everybody else has their next potential point guard. However, if a guy is one of these guys that loves to maintain or possess the ball for long periods of time, okay, you have a choice there, but we generally stay with the dribbler anyway. So the rule is this: if the ball is dribbled towards you, you move away. You rotate away. If the ball is dribbled away from you, you rotate to the ball. Now this ends up for some interesting track responsibilities down the road. I don't think I'm going to have time for you to track today, but that's the rule. Okay, so here's what I want you guys to do. All right? And here, this is going to be difficult, but I want to see you guys can follow through. I want you guys to dribble, I want you to dribble. All right? Everybody just offensively, just squares out. You still stay in the high post. And I want you guys just to adjust and call out your new job as you're moving with your potential point. Right? Exactly. So that means somebody else is going to become maybe the new hole man. Everybody got me? Okay? All right? So you got the new hole, right? You got to let them know by telling you that. So you dribble it all the way, they can dribble to the baseline, right? You don't clear out. So come on, come on. Who's calling a hole now? Hole, right there. Point. All right, you pull it out. Same thing. Go that way. Let's go. Let's go. Hurry up. Hurry up. Who's calling it up? Quiet. Good. Excellent. All right? What's this? Okay. All right, so everybody sees that's how we handle the dribble in this particular defense. Okay? So for the most part, what we want to do here is we want to make sure that we don't have to pinch and give up a wide open three. So now, guys, sit careful. All right? Using the eye. Let me address the high post. Okay. We pull back out. Let's start completely from the 2-3 set. No, we had to begin. Okay. 2-3 set. Okay. All right. High post touches. So I'm going to try to take some, kind of like, do some questions while I'm doing it. Answering questions while I'm doing it. All right. So pull in. Okay. Now, what do we do here? You go, right? You go, welcome back. I left, catch the ball here. All right. Our rule with the high post is, at this point, 11 plays in man-to-man. And everybody else follows the rules of the defense. Okay? Everybody else follows the rules of the defense. But what we do look is we look at this as an opportunity to create a turnover. So if he decides to put the ball on the floor, okay, we encourage our nearest two defenders. Obviously, you have to maintain vision with your point because God forbid he picks up that dribble, kicks it back to him, he gets an uncontested free because you didn't move on the pass, right? Right? Not on the catch. Remember that. So if he puts the ball on the floor, and of course, our rule with you is be high with one hand, but don't let him beat you off the dribble. Be high with one hand, don't let him beat you off the dribble. Okay? All right, so why don't we do it live? And if it ever gets to the high post, okay, let's see. Why don't we pull the ball? Let's see if you guys can do that. All right, go. Quick. All the rules. We're not talking. You got that. Okay, not good. Got this point. Did everything fine except for one thing. You're all leaving your feet a little too much, but more importantly, you dug in on him. He didn't put a rock on the floor. And by doing that, if he was a smart man, he would have immediately kicked it back out and it was a wide open three. So wait until he puts the rock on the floor. Remember, one of his options is now gone, right? So once he puts it on the floor, if you tie him up, now he's, now everybody's got plenty of time to recover. All right, second thing. One of the things I always like to say to prevent your plays from fouling a guy, getting out to a guy, maybe taking a contested shot. When you recover out, guys, you got to recover out low. Don't go flying. You don't leave your feet. Recover low because remember he still has this dribble. Okay, so I saw a little of that there. All right, let me take another situation. Ball screens. Not ball, off the ball screen first. Let me get big guy. Come on in the corner. 24, can you shoot a little bit? Yeah, sure? Okay, we'll see, I guess. All right, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to run baseline. Run baseline. Not you, you're going to set the screen. Okay? Throw the ball to him. Okay, so go in. Go, try this. All right, come. Now remember, wait, who's screening now? Who's following? Exactly. So obviously there are two ways to play it. If this guy here, they can make a switch here. We want the guy to do it on the high side of the screen. Okay? Because if he does it on the low side of the screen, what can this guy do? Yeah, he ducks in, he's going to get the ball, he's going to be able to do something. Okay, so what we want to do on defending screens, in this particular defense, what you want to do is get the guy to go on the high side of the screen. All right, something else might work for you, but that's what we do. In this case here, we switch it off. Obviously, this guy now, because he set the screen, if you roll.
Hey coach, hope you're liking the video. If you are, kick down below. That would help us a ton. Hit the like button down below. If you want to subscribe, that'd be awesome. Hit the little bell up above. You'll get a notification every time one of our new videos goes live. Also, make sure you go over and check out teachhoops.com. Enjoy.
He comes in, now he's got his new responsibility as the holder. Okay? All right, so I'm adding that. So you can have a screen, and you can have basketball type ball. So let's do the whole thing together. Lots of talk, okay? Lots of talk, and let's add one more piece to it. When you guys defend the guys up here, work really hard at stopping that reversal. Make sure you don't open up now and let them go to the basket, but make sure you force him in a position where he's got to kick the ball over. All right, ready? Line. Start from the beginning. First ball back. Come back. Good. Good play. Hold. Point. Hold. Let's go. No, keep going. Keep going. Who's got this? Where's the next one? Who's got the hole? Who's got the hole? Let's go. Where's your next one? Let's go. Keep him there. Okay. Play. Let's go. What do you do now? On the spot. Well, it's fine. All right. So we made a bad read there too. We should have had that. We missed that ball there. We should have had it. That was fine. I want you guys to work with another shot too. I want to see you guys box out. Because there, all the responsibilities for that can cover. All right. There was one guy open on the box. All right. Okay. Go. Remember the rule! Alright, let me address one more real quick. Alright? Okay. So, alright, let's do this. Cutters. Now, a lot of people like to defend cutters against the zone. Alright? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Here's how we play cutters. Let's just walk this through. Okay? I mean, if I don't get time to say it, generally speaking, when we have a ball screen situation, we generally switch it up unless his man is the one setting the screen, the high post guy, in which case we do what we call show, where we step out and try to force the guy away from the basket. Does everybody know what I mean by that terminology? So that's how we handle those two situations for our ball screen. If it's the two top guys, it's a switch up, and if it's the big guy, this man sets the screen, let's say out here, he just shows, gets real big, and forces the guy around. That's the only time when the dribble rule about going away from the ball doesn't apply, because at this point you might be in a threat. If they're setting a pick and roll and the guy's dribbling, it might be something on the left. At that point, somebody's got to step up and stop penetration. Okay, so, cut. Throw up, pinch, throw to him, bump him back, you cut through. So here's why the hole man is important. The hole man is like a free safety or middle linebacker in football. He sees everything. The guy comes through, who's going through. You tell him that you got him. Once you say you got him, you release back and pick up your next potential point. So all of a sudden he's thinking, oh, I got this guy wide open for a three, and he skips it. You're in a position to play that. That's how we handle cutters. Okay? So it's essentially the whole man has to communicate. So you know what, guys? One more. Try to include a cutter. Now, let me see my whole guys communicate that you can switch off. Okay? All right, ready? All right, go ahead. Go! Okay, so how many seconds do you think it took the offense there? 40, 50? Easily, right? Okay, so guys, did you say on the court? Okay, so I figured I got about a minute and a quarter. Anybody questions? Well, I keep them here, I can demonstrate. Really? I answer them.
I got one.
Go.
This corner.
Yes.
The rotation. Go over that again.
Okay, from the beginning or?
From the point and the whole.
Okay, good question. Excellent. Okay, do me a favor. Start the defense from the very beginning. Go back to the screen. All right, here's what I want you to do. Throw the ball to the wing, throw the ball to the corner. Okay, and I'll explain that. It's a very good question. Now throw corner. All right, freeze. Okay. When the ball is in the corner, guys, the point in the hole sometimes does not work perfectly. For example, okay, a lot of teams might try some kind of thing where if they reverse the ball, let's say into the wing, they might have him or one of these guys pin someone to throw a screen across. It's always going to be 2-3 zone. So who's your partner right now? Okay, so obviously he can't be in the hole. So the whole partnership ends when the ball goes to the baseline. So at this point, you don't have to be married to it. Once it gets to the baseline, pretty much what they can do is, as long as the hole is covered, he can let him switch up and be up at the top.
Have you ever brought him here and let him be alone?
Who? Big guy, no.
His
Big
partner.
guy, 5 man, always
No,
keep
no, no, not the 5-man. His partner, which is up here.
Oh, yeah,
If
that could be
you
true.
come up to the base,
Okay.
and then he drops to the hole.
Yeah, you can do that, but again, coach, it's all based on can we match up. See, that's the key. So now let's look at this. Can we match up to this? It's not perfect, but now if he makes a hellacious skip pass, that's a hell of a pass for him to match up. So generally speaking, my rule is don't guard here. You have to be able to wear it on the pass. You can get you the next retention point. That's really the overriding rule to anything off the pass. All right. So in other words, if he can throw that ball and he can get to him, then that means he came over too much. Because right now he is guarding here. All right. Does that answer your question? Yes. Okay. Anybody else? All right. Thank you very much. Oh, got a question. We got one more. What it says between the ball and the basket. Plays between the ball, honest. The only time you really might, if you have a complete breakdown, like one of your players falls down, we might ask them to go out and match up.
Oh, no, not to step out. What I'm noticing is that elbow is basically, once you get to the corner, you can make that impact there. Because you stand up a little bit, it's not really stand honest. Between the ball and the back.
Well, he has to stay between the ball and the basket. So that might be just a function of 11 not being there all the time.
Okay.
You have to keep on there, guys. It's got to look like a 1-3-1, pretty much from the top and the middle once you start the ball rolling. See, the goal is when it looks like a 1-3-1, look what you have. You have your wings covering their potential points. You have the big man between the ball and the basket. You have your point on the ball. You have a guy under the basket. You have everything covered. That's the goal of the defense. So theoretically, he's not kind of being true to it. You're right. But being honest, when the ball's on the baseline, he might not completely be true to it. For example, in the championship game when I was coaching at Brooklyn against Baruch, place I'm actually coaching at now, except it's at the high school, we actually had a very good low post presence that we had a guard. Okay, Stephen Bader, is that his name? Shay, I don't remember, but yes. Okay, so we kind of played him more of a one-on-one, kind of a man in man, so we kind of told him, pick your poison, see who is on the baseline. Okay, so that's up to you guys. Because matchups are a big thing. If you can scout wherever you are and know what you're facing with 5-man, look, ideally we'd love to face 5 men that can't do anything. Okay, so you can almost help off of them at all times. But one thing about this defense is he still has clearly defined responsibilities, and he's always there for you. That's what allows us not to have to pinch 2 guards all the time and create a wide open 3. Does that answer your question? Okay. All right. Anybody else? Yeah. Yes. I know. It's okay. As long as you don't shoot. All right, yeah. We trap the short corner. Sometimes we go right away out of the 2-3. Okay, after the 2-3-7. And basically it's the same. I start from the top. Start from the top. Now, since I use this as a drop back for my press, sometimes it's good to do it because sometimes I think I have an open shot here. Do it better. If we do it, throw the ball. Okay, bump it back. Throw the ball. Follow the ball. Follow the ball. Shoot the gap. Okay, we look to get this, and you got to cheat. And here's what we teach the kids. It's a famous press thing. All the great press coaches will tell you. Read shoulders. Read the shoulders of the player. If your shoulders point out here, well, that's the ball out of bounds. I guess that's not good. So read his shoulders and try to read. Obviously, if his shoulders turn that way, you cheat off this way. If his shoulders read and he's going backwards, then you guys can cheat this way. So the whole guy is a gamble. Okay? So that's what we do. All right, gentlemen. Any other questions? Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it.
Hey, Coach, so glad you enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe and like. Second all, go check tryouts.com for coaches who want to get better. Let me help you put banners and stuff in your gym and become a nationally ranked coach, win more games in less time. Tryouts.com is a community that will allow you to do that. Go over and check it out and go check the next video out. Bye.